Story recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain an adventure, drama, and romance film called Monsters. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. 6 years ago, NASA discovers the first sign of alien life within the solar system. They initiate a plan to send a space probe to collect samples of the foreign specimen. However, the probe malfunctions and crash lands in Mexico. Aliens start appearing in the area. This is known as the infected zone. The war between the alien life forms and the US and Mexican military persists up to the present. Photojournalist Andrew Calder sets foot in a ruined building. Debris covers a massive tentacle. Firefighters surround the area looking for potential bodies or survivors. Andrew tries communicating with them, but the firefighters don't understand him. Luckily, someone in the group knows a little English. Andrew is looking for the injured survivors, and they point him towards the hospital. Riding as a passenger on a motorcycle, Andrew sees the colorful rural community of Mexico. A tank passes nonchalantly, indicating that the situation there took a turn for the worse. Andrew enters the hospital and asks for Samantha Wyndon. The nurse leads him to a room, and as he walks through the hospital, he sees the people suffering. Andrew sees Samantha, or Sam, sitting in a room. He introduces himself as an employee in her father's publishing company. He asks about her broken arm, and she assures him that everything is okay. Andrew leaves immediately, not even a goodbye. He talks to a man on a payphone. He appears frustrated as the person he's talking to wants Andrew to take Sam to the US. However, he has other plans. Andrew intends to cover the story in Mexico because this can be his big break. In the end, he has no other choice but to escort Sam back home. In a car, the two sit at the back, looking out the window. Sam observes the destruction and chaos in the community while Andrew takes pictures with his camera. Sam asks the driver if he feels safe living in the area, to which he replies that they have nowhere else to go, so they make do with what they have. They arrive at a train station, and Sam talks to her father on the payphone. She says everything is fine with her, but her father begs to differ. He wants her to call her fiancé, but Sam seems reluctant. Meanwhile, Andrew fights through the crowd to get to the ticket booth. He sees a poster showing an infected zone between the US and Mexico. He then buys 2 tickets to the coast for himself and Sam. The train arrives, Sam is still on the phone, and Andrew tells Sam to hurry as the train would leave soon. Sam's father hears Andrew's voice and asks to talk to him. Despite Andrew not wanting to speak to her father, Sam gives him the phone. With a tone of a caring father, he makes Andrew understand what's at stake. And under no circumstance shall he fail to deliver Sam to safety. They enter the train and sit down, feeling relieved. Sam converses with Andrew. They talk about his photography and his desire to get his photos on the publication's front page. He helps remove her arm sling, and they proceed with some small talk. They get to know more about each other, then Andrew catches a glance at Sam's engagement ring, which quickly changes his mood. Sam's fatigue finally catches up to her while Andrew continues to take photographs. He takes photos of the scenery, military helicopters, and abandoned toxic materials. Flashes of light from explosions can be seen beyond the mountains in the train's direction. Sam carefully makes her way to Andrew to inform him that the train will turn back because of mishaps in the way. They get off the train, but Sam thinks it's a bad idea. Andrew assures her that they're miles away from the infected zone. The train leaves, and there they start their journey on the cold, dark road. Andrew tries to talk to a local, but Sam interrupts. She speaks Spanish and tells the woman they're lost. The woman invites them to her home and provides them a map. They communicate and find out that they're far from the coast and can't get there by train because the tracks are damaged. In the next 48 hours, Sam and Andrew need to reach the coast as the military will soon initiate a 6-month border lockdown. Knowing the journey ahead will be gruesome and tiring, they spend the night in the woman's home, eating and having a bit of banter with one another. The woman asks if the two are married, and Sam laughingly says no. Andrew voices out that he's single. Andrew contemplates something while watching the news but soon falls asleep. Andrew takes a picture of a bunch of kids playing. He instructs them to put on a mask depicting a scene of how a war-torn environment can affect the lives of innocent youth. They say their goodbyes, and the two go on their way, with Andrew seeming to be in a hurry. Andrew asks if Sam is married. She replies that she's only engaged. They walk along the long road, trying to hitch a ride with the passing vehicles. A kind-hearted driver allows them to ride the back of his pickup truck. Multiple signs show they're nearing the infected area. They talk with another man at the back of the pickup truck, and they find out that there's a bus stop at a nearby village. They speak with the locals, and Andrew takes more photographs of the conditions of the community. Sam confronts Andrew and asks if he's okay with the fact that he profits from bad things happening. He jokingly rebuts that it's the same thing with doctors. They ride the bus and continue on their journey. Along their journey, they ride numerous vehicles up until they reach the coast. Andrew tries to purchase ferry tickets but finds out they're too expensive. He tries haggling with the man to no avail and still ends up buying the tickets. After a while, Sam and Andrew begin being flirty with each other. The night comes, and Andrew finds himself in Sam's room while waiting for his room to be ready. Sam says that she needs a bath. Andrew teases Sam by offering to scrub her back for her. But she's quick to turn him down. The news grows scarier as they announce that the movement of the creatures is becoming more and more rampant. They talk for a while, then Sam takes the bath that she's been longing for. Andrew takes this opportunity to make a call to his son to wish him a happy birthday. Sam asks who he's talking to, but he lies and says that it's just reception. He gives Sam her privacy, and they meet outside a couple of minutes later. They take this time together to enjoy the culture of the community. They eat, drink, and experience all the wonders the place can offer, seeming like this is the calm before the storm. However, the vibe suddenly changes when they enter a cemetery. What meets them is the heartbreaking sight of men, women, and children who died because of the aliens and the military's bombs. The happiness in their faces is quickly replaced by sorrow and grief. They sit in a local shop while drinking alcohol. They talk about what lies ahead for Sam. She plans to get home to her fiancé, get married, living their version of a happily ever after. Andrew is jealous, but not because she's getting married, but because her future looks more fun than his. They celebrate the night away, drinking and laughing. Andrew rambles on about dolphins, and the random conversations continue, leading them to Sam's room. Words from his mouth seem to be endlessly pouring out, feeling as if he doesn't want the night to end. He jokes about his room not having air conditioning and Sam's room having a king-sized bed. Even though Sam laughs at all his jokes, she doesn't give in to his quips. Andrew's patience grows thinner, so he asks if she wants to make out. But like all his past advances, it fails, and she leaves him hanging once again. Sam lays in her bed, and she opens the television that coincidentally plays a documentary about the alien creature's mating process. This leads to her calling her fiancé, who is too busy to pick up. Meanwhile, Andrew's night is just getting started. He's at the local shop, drinking as many shots of tequila as he can. The morning comes, Andrew awakens on his bed naked with a woman. He hears a knock and opens the door to see Sam. They say their good mornings, and she invites him for a cup of coffee. Andrew accepts her invitation and asks for a moment so he can get ready. Sam sees the woman in Andrew's bed and quickly retracts her invitation. Sam is visibly hurt, appearing that the sight of a woman in Andrew's bed had ruined her morning. Sam leaves in a hurry, and a half-naked Andrew chases after her. Andrew confronts her as she stands by the pier. He asks her if this is the end for them, to which she replies yes. Andrew then questions why she isn't on the boat yet. Sam says she can't, leaving Andrew feeling a roller coaster of emotions. However, she further clears things up by saying Andrew has her passport. Andrew hurries back to his room to get the passport. He scours his room but couldn't find their passports. Feeling defeated, they return to the ticketing booth and resort to demanding another ticket. The man cannot give another ticket because the military has begun initiating the lockdown. Sam butts in, suggesting that she'll travel by land if she needs to. They negotiate the price for the journey, accounting for transportation, protection, and bribery. They will need $10,000. Andrew tries to trade in his watch and camera, but the man doesn't accept. Leaving her with no choice, Sam gives up her engagement ring. Andrew is shocked. He finally realizes the consequences of his actions, and the guilt eats him up. The man accepts the ring and gives tickets to both Andrew and Sam. The two arrive at the checkpoint of the entrance into the infected zone. They get through after bribing a guard. More negotiation occurs, and they finally board a small boat. As the group sail through the body of water, peace radiates as the relaxing sound of birds chirping and the motor running fills the silence. They dock the boat for a while to refill gas. Sam relieves himself behind a building. Suddenly, they hear a creature howling. The guards are on high alert, readying their weapons. The two return to the boat, but Sam looks uneasy and keeps turning back to the direction of where the howl came from. On the boat, they talk about Andrew's son, Tommy. Delving more into his personal life, Andrew tells a story about his ex. And how it took her 2 years to let Andrew know that he has a son, only to tell him not to consider himself as Tommy's father. Andrew then changes the subject. In the middle of the river, the boat breaks down. The sun starts to set, and the boat remains at a standstill. Darkness isn't the only thing that stalks the group, as a disturbance in the water alerts them. Sam shines a light into the water while Andrew takes photographs. A fighter jet ascends from the depths of the river. Not long after, tentacles come rising, pulling the plane down. Sam tells the men fixing the motor to hurry up. Luckily, the engine starts back up, and they speed away. The sun rises, and along with it is Sam, waking herself up to see the beautiful scenery. As they pass along sunken vessels, they see bloody handprints. A group of armed men meets the two. They're the next group that'll escort them through the infected zone. The night arrives, and the group camps out in the wilderness. Their destination is close, and they will soon start their journey after another family accompanies them. The group tells tales about the creature's appearance and behavior. American planes drop chemicals around that area, and the creatures despise it. Andrew asks why they drop chemicals, to which a man replies that it's to rid of the infected environment. Andrew and Sam soon find out that the creatures aren't the only thing that makes up the infected zone, but rather, the trees in the area are extraterrestrial as well. With every touch, the trees react. The man further explains that these are premature alien life forms. When they mature, they submerge into the river and into the oceans to reproduce. Back at the camp, the two share an intimate moment as Andrew rebandages Sam's arm. The danger of their situation continues to grow, but their feelings for one another prosper. The night resumes, and a man uses Andrew's camera without his permission. Chaos and gunshots from a walkie-talkie wake up the group. They quickly ride out, interrupting Andrew, who frantically looks for his camera. Vehicles line up, and in one of them, Andrew and Sam sit all confused and worried. They ask what's going on, but a man denies an answer and demands them to stay quiet. The men start putting gas masks on, and Andrew complains why they don't get to wear them as well. They hear a creature screech, and the vehicle in front of them gets abducted by the monster's tentacles. The group of men exit the vehicle and start firing at the monster. The gunshots stop, and the creatures close in on the two. Andrew punches the lights out, hoping that'll be enough to eliminate any trace that they're there. The creature walks past them, and they are relieved. The following day, Andrew exits the vehicle and inspects the area around them. He sees a car stuck in the branches of a tree and calls out for any survivors. He throws up as he tries to get near the remains of a mangled man. He then retrieves his camera. They find that they're the only ones left alive. Sam continues to call out Andrew, but he still ignores her. He sees the corpse of a young girl while walking through the destruction that the creature left. He pays his respects and covers her up. Sam struggles to hide her shock. Andrew grabs another gas mask, and the two continue to reach their destination. They walk along the hills, the grass, and the forest. Sam asks Andrew to stop as she has to pee. As she relieves herself, Sam sees a temple. They climb up and see the wall separating America from the infected zone. They contemplate their experiences, realizing a different perspective of looking at America from the other side of the wall. And that the difficulties and horror won't matter as soon as they get to the other side. With a teary eye, Sam changes the topic this time around. They talk about something funny, like how Sam practiced laughing when she was young. Andrew teases her because of this, and they share an even more intimate moment than the last time. The next day, they begin their final trek. The two talk more about Andrew's personal life until they reach the border. No one is there, so they climb up, making their way to the evacuation site. A rotting creature lays on top of a house, and Andrew ventures in to take more pictures. Suddenly, they hear a squeaking noise. They cautiously investigate to find out the origin of the sound. To their surprise, they see someone pushing a cart. The woman halts as soon as she hears Sam call out to her. The two take a closer look, and the woman is seen wearing an American flag around her neck. Sam asks if the woman has seen anyone else. Weirdly enough, she replies by furiously quacking. The two are taken aback by what the woman did. She goes on his way, saying she has something to do. They find themselves 3 miles away from the evacuation site. In the distance, they see the light from a gas station. They dialed 911 and reports that they need assistance. The woman advises them to stay where they are as an army patrol is nearby and is on their way. Andrew makes a phone call outside to greet Tommy with a happy birthday. Tommy says he misses him, making Andrew choke up a bit. Andrew becomes more emotional as he talks more with Tommy. He promises to catch up with him as soon as he gets home. Meanwhile, Sam is inside also making a phone call to her fiancé. While talking, she sees a frustrated Andrew sitting outside. She says goodbye to her fiancé and tells him she loves him but looks at Andrew as she speaks the words. Unbeknownst to the two, a monster has appeared on top of the gas station. Sam is unaware and hears the door opening. She sees tentacles making their way into the store. Sam notices that the creature's tentacles absorb energy from the television. She turns it off, and the creature leaves the store. Outside, another creature appears and the two monsters interact. They connect and mate with one another, displaying a mesmerizing scene. The two went their separate paths, leaving Andrew and Sam dumbfounded by what happened. Military vehicles then approach them. Sam says she doesn't want to go home. They both lean in for a kiss. Everything leading up to that moment made it even more special, giving the same feeling like the connection that happened between the two creatures. On the radio, a man reports that they have sight of one male and one female, and they're heading in to retrieve them. Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.